Hey, it's Paul. Welcome back to B&B Talk. I'm going to jump right into this episode because it's probably one of the most pivotal episodes I've seen in a long time. Do me a favor and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. All right, the first thing we see where we left off with Steffy and Ali, and it's pretty bad. And she's taken a big swing at her, and Steffy's jumped back in defense. We quickly jump and see Ivy, and she's driving towards where she's looking to find Ali, and she leaves a message for her saying that they should talk. Now, we go back to the Forster mansion and we see that Thorne has arrived, and Rick tells him about his engagement with Maya, and Thorne's excited for them. He applauds Maya for her courage because he's been following the whole thing with Bill Spencer and her, being outed as transgender. And then Rick is honest with Thorne. He tells him that that Ali's in trouble and that she's regressed, and they also figure out that Oliver is on assignment in Milan and he's not really there to help her, but he's sort of pulled back as well. We see a lot of flashbacks as they're explaining to him of Ali's outburst, and Rick admits that he wasn't good to Ali and neither was Maya, and he apologizes, but Thorne is understanding and he doesn't blame him, and he says that she's got issues and that they keep coming back, and this has been over years. And Thorne asks about Ali's behavior, and Leon tells him about the time that Ali got into a fight with Steffy after she saw her in the lingerie or the swimsuit, and she brought up the fact that Taylor had run over her mother and said that Steffy was just like her, and they paint a really accurate picture of how she's been acting, and Thorne understands all of this. He's seen this before, being her father, and Thorne says that she feels things so intensely and she's never gotten over her mom, and it's one of the reasons why she bottles things up and then just it's like a cork and it goes. And Thorne asks, and Leon confirms that she's been seeing visions of her mom, and so he knows how far she's gone at this point. And he said that she's created this code in her head, and when someone deviates from the code she has in her head, that's when she tends to lose it. And Thorne agrees that she needs help and says he wants to take her back to Paris. And in fact, after that, we do see him on the phone, and he confirms to everyone that he's made plans to pick her up and take her back, first to see the doctor and then to Paris. And then we cut back to Ali, and she tells Steffy that she and Maya are poison and that she can't let her ruin everything while she's holding this iron. And she takes a swing and she misses, and they struggle for the tire iron. And Ali picks up a rock and she starts berating Steffy. And then we see Ivy while she's driving, and Ivy's having flashbacks to Ali's behavior. And then she comes upon the scene on the road and she sees Steffy on the ground, and she sees, at least from a distance, she sees Ali. Don't know if she saw the rock in her hand, but as she hovers over Steffy pulls up the tire iron and swings in defense, and I think it hits Ali, and she falls and hits her head on a rock. And now Steffy checks on her, but there's no response, and she grabs a tire iron and throws it in the bushes. And then Ivy comes up and she says they need to call an ambulance, and Ivy asks what happened, and Steffy says that Ali tried to attack her, and then Ivy said, I think she's dead, after checking her. And we think this could be the worst, but there's always, you think there's a chance that she'll get a pulse or something. And then the ambulance arrives, and then Steffy brings him up to speed on what happened, and the guy said, is that your story? And it's kind of an odd thing to say. And they start working on her, and then we quickly see the EMT's response, and he shakes his head like she didn't make it, and we see Steffy and Ivy just lose it. They're sobbing uncontrollably, and that's where we leave things off. It's a sad end to a real twisted story, and it's one of the most exciting ones we've seen in a while. So I want to thank you all for checking out B&B Talk. It's Paul. Don't forget, subscribe and follow us on social media. Thanks, and have a good night.